Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
And I'm Jay Reeve.
And today we continue our deep, dark dive into David Lynch with his second motion picture, The Elephant Man, as Jay is wonderfully highlighting for us.
Are you in any pain? Are your parents still alive?
Life is full of surprises.
This was a first watch for you.
Yes.
This is hot off, well, I say hot off Eraserhead as if it was the biggest movie in the world. Eraserhead is a midnight movie by this point.
Was the film?
Eraserhead is a midnight movie by this point, and so it's quite popular in that cult sphere. Kubrick's seen it; he loves it. He says repeatedly it's his favorite film. John Waters loves it, another great American cult filmmaker. So it's very popular in those circles. Mel Brooks, one of my comedic idols, is wanting to move into producing films, and he wants to do the Elephant Man story. And he gets brought to him, David Lynch, and he's like, "Who's this kid? Who's this kid? He's never made a movie." Oh, no, he has made a movie. And the way that Lynch tells it is he sat in the hallway waiting for Mel Brooks to finish watching Eraserhead.
Right.
Finishes watching it, and Mel Brooks rushes out and goes, "You're crazy, kid. I love you. Let's make this movie together."
Yeah, I love that. But he didn't put his name on.
He didn't put his name on it because Mel Brooks is the biggest comedy star of it. So we're in 1980. So Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein come out in the same year, which is 74 or 75, I can't remember. It's that classic thing of comedians can only do one thing in studio's eyes and audience's eyes. People would think that it's a laugh out loud comedy.
Which it is. No, I'm kidding. No, it's very much not.
And and so they make the Elephant Man story.
Yeah.
I love the Elephant Man. This was, in a way, my way into Lynch because it is, we've talked about it as sort of the straightest maybe of his movies. That sort of, it's an easy way in.
Yeah.
There are surreal elements.
Yes.
But you could, they all make sense. Whereas, and I think it's obtuse to say that his other films don't make sense, but they require perhaps a little bit of
like wiggle room in your head, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm going to sit back and think about this.
Yes.
And Elephant Man's just a film that my grandma loves, and she, and she cries, and. My mum, she passed it on to my mum, who also cries because it's a very, very sad film. It's it's glorious. What was your reaction to The Elephant Man?
I thought it was very sweet. It's another one of those films where you could have someone say, "Oh, Lynch isn't very empathetic or care," and then you could just stick this in front of them for 2 hours and be like, well, what are you talking about?
Well, this
I thought
is
it was
the thing.
very nice.
a lot of critics actually at the time commented that it was maybe too melodramatic and too saccharine.
Okay.
And for me, you could argue that.
I don't really agree.
I think the only moment that you could make the argument would be the single tear from Hopkins when he first sees the Elephant Man.
Yes. So,
but on the other hand, that's a tremendously, tremendously beautiful moment.
Yeah, I looked into that, and I don't think Lynch directed him to do that.
Yeah.
That was Hopkins.
Just a great actor.
They didn't get on with it. Yeah.
It's Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Frederick Treves, who was actually
famous.
Say that again.
Transformers: The Last Knights.
Yes, it's his most famous role. Wasn't that the one he won Best Actor for?
Oh yeah.
This was actually the inspiration for him being cast as Hannibal Lecter. Did you know that?
No. It makes sense.
Jonathan Demme watched it and he said, I think this is the perfect good doctor. And Hopkins said, no, Dr. Treves is a nice man. And he said, Lecter thinks he's a nice man. And you can sort of see, it's an odd one to say because he has won Best Actor and is iconic and will forever be remembered as Lecter.
Yes.
But I think Hopkins is a pretty underrated actor, actually.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Westworld?
I haven't seen Westworld yet. I've heard nothing but raves, and then I heard nothing but bad.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. He's very good in season 1. For a lot of people, he carried the show, I think, because he is just great. It's the little movements in the eyes, I think, for me that really make him stick out in his own way.
We talked about it on the show before. That is the wonderful film Magic, where he's a ventriloquist. Just an all-timer for me, and Will really got on board with it. Let's get into YouTube comments. Let's start talking about the Elephant Man. Mr. John Hurt was such an underrated actor. Rest in peace. Yes, we are talking, unfortunately, about the late John Hurt. This is is like so early in his career.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just get him up because he sort of comes into major popularity. Well, he's immediately, again, we're talking about immediately iconic with him being in one of the most iconic scenes of all time, with him being Kane in Alien and him being the chest burster. Oh no, I'm completely wrong because I Claudius is 76. Yeah, so John Hurt is very, very well established. He was, the talk of the town with I Claudius as Caligula. He's also been in Midnight Express. Again, I forgot that's before this. He was in that weird animated Lord of the Rings adaptation that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah, I saw that when I was looking earlier. Did you see what David Lynch said about John Hurt?
No, go on.
In 1990, I thought it was very sweet. He said, John Hurt is the greatest actor I've ever worked with.
Oh, it's understandable.
Yes.
It's pretty excellent. I'm gonna make the bullshit argument that I always make, and I've made it. A Sense of a Woman blog came out the other day that I wrote, and I've talked about it with Rain Man before, in that it's always going to be the Al Pacino playing blind, Dustin Hoffman being Raymond Babbitt, and it's going to be John Hurt as the Elephant Man that are going to be the best lead performance, and everybody's going to love it, and it's completely justified. However, if you don't have Anthony Hopkins and you don't have Tom Cruise and you don't have Chris O'Donnell, these movies just don't work.
No, I agree.
And we'll talk about it at Oscar Travesty. Of the three that I just mentioned, John Hurt's the one that doesn't win. I don't think we'll be able to argue with who he lost to. And I think, and another Oscar sort of anecdote I want to bring up is when Gary Oldman won for playing Winston Churchill. And the comment that I kept saying about that was that it wasn't a win for best acting. It was a win for best makeup.
Yeah.
And I just think in the canon of Gary Oldman, there are just infinitely better performances, even infinitely better performances where he's covered in makeup and you don't know who he is. Whereas I do think John Hurt in The Elephant Man, I can't even explain it properly, I don't think, but does so much more with so much less.
Yeah, you only see about here of actual lead him.
So it came out at the same time in the mid-'80s. Well, not that this is the mid-'80s. And the film actually now has a thing that says this is in no relation to the play The Elephant Man, because there was a big successful play. And Bowie was in it, and everybody. There was a big thing at the time, Bowie, actually.
The year before that play came out?
That sounds about right, actually.
Yeah.
And Bowie was in it. It got done again, revived with Bradley Cooper, actually. And the whole thing of that play is that there's no makeup.
Okay.
And it's just the actor crooking their spine and doing a slight thing with the face.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing.
Right.
And yeah, that works. But also, this is a feat of astounding makeup. And I do think just the film wouldn't work if the makeup was less good or if the makeup was minimal.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't have worked. Because, I mean, especially with Lynch, because I feel like he uses that a lot. Well, like the lady in the radiator. And especially with on the black and white, it looks pretty good.
It looks incredible. And I don't know whether it was used here to do this, but black and white's often used to sort of mask less good makeup or less good CGI in the modern day. But it just looks so stark.
Don't be frightened. He won't hurt you. He won't hurt you. He won't hurt you.
You will feel the chill of horror. Yet this is not a horror story. You will feel the warmth of love. Yet this is not a love story. It is the shocking, true story of a very real monster who was also a very real human being.
Ladies and gentlemen, the terrible Elephant Man.
Man's a complete idiot. Pray to God he's an idiot. But supposing he's an intelligent man trapped in some monstrous body.
Where have you been? What did you do?
Please don't!
I know exactly what you've done to him, and he's never going back to that.
And in many ways, it's playing with those Universal monster movies.
Yeah.
You could very easily, if that was in the Universal canon, you could very easily see a movie where the Elephant Man is a Dr. Jekyll-like killer.
I definitely thought that during the scene when he's running through the train station.
Oh yeah, tremendous.
Kind of reminded me of like Frankenstein or something. Yeah.
YouTube comments, back to them. The next one we have is, I watched when I was younger and I really thought that it was made in the 40s and 50s. Other than the surrealist sort of editing in the middle and the opening and closing moments, it's pretty period accurate. It's pretty, it's shot like a 40s movie.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with the widescreen instead of the letterbox.
Yeah. The sets
are incredible.
good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not really used to Lynch, you doing period type films.
Yes, true. Yeah.
So it was pretty great to see. Actually, I was thinking that because I wrote down that when Anthony Hopkins is first walking down the streets of, is it London?
Yeah, Victorian London.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Victorian London. I wrote that it reminded me of Eraserhead, like the start of that. But it's also distinctly London and very Victorian, and it's good.
That glorious smoke and those, and the black and white just accentuates it beautifully. We're used now so often to Victorian England being those BBC colour dramas, and it was very nice to see just it looking so shoddy and shitty.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how this poor guy felt being looked at in disgust wherever he went. Society is a dumbass. Stick your social circles. People are people whatever they look, act or sound like. I'm so comforted that they were some who were kind to be with him.
Wow.
It's very true.
I mean, it's true. It's glad that I feel as passionately as that, to be honest. But
don't you just hate coasters that lift with your drink?
Yeah. It annoys me so much. When I was with my girlfriends, that just kept on happening.
It's like you're in a Three Stooges routine. It's terrible. Let's get into the body of the film. Let's do 10-minute stretch.
Mm-hmm.
I usually lead the way. What are ones that you really got? You really singled out?
Okay, I'd say the opening. I don't know if it's 10 minutes, but I'd say up until they first meet.
Yeah.
So it starts with the surrealness, then it goes into meet Hopkins, Frederick Teves, and then when he goes and finds John Merrick.
And then the wonderful, just very small thing of going backwards through the freak show, and all those no exits, and so every time he goes to a different thing, he's also, as well as coming face to face with the exhibits, he's also coming face to face with people who have already seen them and are already shocked, and husbands holding their clamoring wives and all that.
Crowds, yeah. It's good. And then I also put the scene where he gets kidnapped. Kind of, he gets drunk and then, and then he gets rescued by all the other people that are at the exhibition.
Rescued by Kenny Baker. R2D2 himself.
Really?
Yeah, that's R2D2.
No.
Yeah,
oh my God.
That's Kenny Baker.
It's amazing. And then he, wow. And then he gets on a train and goes back, and then he meets the cast of Oliver Twist, runs them over.
Why I got such a big head? Why I got such a big head? And it is that Frankenstein thing that you're talking about him accidentally knocking over the little girl. I mean, that's not Frankenstein, because in Frankenstein he actually kills the little girl. He intentionally kills the little girl to frame Victor. And then poor Justine gets hanged. Oh, poor Justine.
Do you understand me? He's a freak. That's how they live. We're partners, he and I.
Terrible though his appearance is, he is superior in intelligence. He can read and write, is quiet, gentle, not to say even refined in his mind.
Can you imagine the kind of life he must have had?
Yes, I think I can.
I don't believe so. No one could possibly imagine it. I don't believe any of us can.
Where is he?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
He's gone!
to me? I ain't done nothing wrong. People pay money to see your monster, Mr. Treves. I'll collect it. Yalla, monster, yalla! Freak now, get up! I am not an animal!
Is my glass... No, that my glass hasn't smashed. It's lime. Yeah, the mob is almost, I think, in regards to tension, visuals, is and it's also the iconic moment from the film. You showed us your Blu-ray before. Yeah, it's the front cover. It's the I'm not an animal.
Yeah.
Whenever anybody says the Elephant Man, if they have a borderline knowledge, they go, "Oh, Michael Jackson bought his bones," or they remember, "I'm not an animal."
Yeah,
I'm a
I've
human
known
being.
about that bit for ages as well before I watched it.
Well, it's truly iconic. In 2 years, John Hurt is in 2 of the most iconic moments in cinema history. It's on all those Oscar montages.
Yeah.
Well, less so the chest burster. That's a bit more graphic. They can't really have that in the stuff. I've also got coming to see his wife for tea, and her reacting, and the wonderful thing of, "I'm not used to such beautiful women."
Yeah. Would you like to see my mother?
It's very fun doing a John Merrick voice. We can just openly admit it. And I love Anne's reaction when he hands her the picture of the mother.
So
she goes, "Oh, but Frederick, she's beautiful." "Yes, she's very nice." And my John Merrick is more or less also my Gary Oldman as Mason Verger in Hannibal. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Going to have a pedicure? You're fit. Great movie. Love Hannibal. Absolutely love Hannibal.
I'm gonna shock you. I've never seen it.
Ever?
Well, Silence of the Lambs. No.
You've not seen Silence of the Lambs either?
No.
Oh, well, that's getting brought down. So that will be screened.
Good.
Oh God, and it'll be so wonderful on a big projector. Ta-ta, Clarice. For all of you listeners, our Silence of the Lambs episode is live. It's on YouTube and Spotify. And also, there's a blog. I've written a blog post, and it's called Silence of the Lambs. It's still the greatest thriller of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, and also it's that thing when we're talking about the British Victorian era, it's filled to the brim with classically trained Shakespearean actors. Hopkins, John Gielgud. Oh, we should have Mr. Merrick.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's just marvelous, isn't it?
Yeah. Odd thinking of having English people in a Lynch film besides, Freddy with the green glove.
Well, him, yes.
What's your uncle?
I like what's the Beatles line he accidentally says? I read the news today. Oh, but was that? Am I getting this right or not? I can't even remember.
Said, "I'm the fireman."
Jesus, what hell of another iconic moment of all time.
Yes.
I love Anne Bancroft coming for tea, and as Mrs. Kendall, who is, of course, Mel Brooks' wife. She's obviously an awful lot more, but she was brought in. She actually, I believe, actually, she had the script first, and she brought it to Brooks.
Oh, okay.
And there's also the story, just Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks are one of my favorite couples. Just adore them. So I could watch them singing Miss Georgie Brown in I think it's Polish for just every day of my life. It's one of my favorite videos ever.
Okay.
And then that high society montage of him getting into society and them, "Oh, this cane's a lot better than the last," and him getting into society. And then Mrs. Moorhead, who now realizes that he's being he's a circus act again.
Yeah.
Saying, he's a circus act again.
Yeah, that's a really great scene. By that you mean the nurse?
Yes.
And then obviously Frederick realizes it while she's saying that, and it's pretty.
I love. It's one of my favorite subgenres of film is people coming into small towns and making everything better. So it's this, Paddington 2, and I can't think of any others at current. But I love. It's a very, very simple thing. Just everybody falling in love with John and caring for John. It's lovely. And even the oatmeal woman who screamed when she brought the oatmeal. She's getting dressed for the nice theatre at the end. It's just marvellous.
It's just heartwarming.
Tom's weirdly specific favourite parts of the film. What an entrance for Anthony Hopkins. Sudden turn.
Yeah.
Delightful. The way that we are introduced to John.
Yes.
Subtly at times. Even the first time we properly see him on the IMDb, it says you don't see him until 10 minutes and whatever. But even then, it's so quick. We don't get a proper look until we are in the room with him. In that first room he's in, when he's talking with Frederick. In particular, I love the shadow moment when he takes him to be
that's good. His genitals.
They're fine.
Yes.
And as much as Frederick's caring, from immediately he has no regard for his privacy or anything when it comes to, because it's in the guise of medical research and making him better. It's not in the guise of look at this freak. But it's the same principle. He has no problem. He doesn't necessarily, if there's nothing wrong with his genitalia, he doesn't need to remove the pants and go, look at this. You all know what a good penis looks like. You're doctors.
It's still a bit like parading him.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's, can you call me? And Frederick's like, no,
but we can care for you. I thought not. I love the cat fight in the reception. And I say cat fight maybe gratuitously, but it's a full-on there scratching and bloody faces like cats, like taloned cats. And it's Freddie Jones who's playing Bites, who's come in to get him back in some guise that he cares, which he doesn't really. And to bring him back, and I'm surprised he doesn't actually throw that at him of, well, you look what you've got in your reception, and even he calls him out on it in the stairwell. He calls him out and goes, I know what you're doing. You're showing him to all your science buddies.
And I looked at the real history as well.
Oh yes.
And obviously they were friends in real life, but then there's the fact that immediately after John Merrick died, like he was dissected by Fred.
I guess. But you wouldn't you? Surely?
Yeah, you would. But it's like, I don't know. It's your friend in a way. I'd give it a month.
Well, yeah, but would you? Because you'd have to bury him maybe and then bring him back up.
That's true. Yeah, but then there's also putting his skeleton in the museum.
Well, that's another factor, isn't it? And then selling it to Michael Jackson.
I am a human being.
Anthony Hopkins, Anne Bancroft, John Gielgud, Wendy Hiller, and John Hurt as the Elephant Man. A shattering experience.
For the right price. You will see something you'll never, ever see again in your life.
I love his little suit. I love when he puts his suit on. The Lord's Prayer moment, when he knows the rest of the Lord's Prayer and he finally starts speaking, is just a glorious, glorious moment. Because I hadn't seen the film in some time, and I thought, wait a minute, I thought he spoke. I thought he spoke all the time.
Yeah, and this, as this was my first time, I thought he could speak, but then he didn't until quite a bit in, and I was thinking like, oh, so is Anthony Hopkins going to be teaching him how to speak?
My Fair Lady.
Yeah, but no, he knew.
It was great. His delightful little church. I very nearly tripped myself. They've released another special Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And it has like a fold-out church. And I very nearly tripped myself, but I didn't. And it is just that thing of he is so in... I couldn't make that.
No. It's very smart.
With just cardboard.
Yeah, I know.
He's done well there.
Yeah.
And then the thing of once that's done, it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's been whether it's been his plan all along or not, he's sort of given himself a time of, yeah, okay, when the church is finished, I'll pass on and sleep like a normal person.
It depends. I don't know if he knew if he died or not.
I think he did. I think he did because he says. Because he goes to the picture. Why can't I sleep like that? And I think it is suicide.
Right.
I think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and it's and he knows what he wants.
Yeah,
he knows the way he wants to go.
Yeah, and he's been given this glorious final moment with the theatre that's been given to him.
I love that.
And also, there's the thing of the woman who's having the dress made for her, the oatmeal girl, saying to Mrs. Mohad, does Mrs. Kendall know that John's dying? So presumably in between scenes, we've learned, or at least Frederick's informed John that his state has gotten worse. And so I think that he just wants to go on his own terms instead of...
Actually, no, I'll get into that.
Okay.
Later.
Exciting. And just good angry Hopkins on "Don't Light on Me." Very good.
Yeah, I know.
Any other particular little details that you particularly enjoy, Jay?
The theatre's romance.
Oh,
beautiful. Yes. Only Mother's Head can sack me now.
I'm going to be really boring. I'm going to put that in What's the Change. I thought that was a bit too cute.
Yeah, I know.
I liked it.
It was a bit... This is a PG film.
This is true. I'm quite surprised, actually. I mean, I guess not, but it's quite grisly.
Yeah.
What does it say on the back? What does it say?
It says contains mild horror and violence.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd say the surreal films are a bit scary.
Yeah,
and loud.
I mean, I've never seen it as an elephant rape, but in the booklet that comes with my Blu-ray, that's what the critic called it. He said the movie opens with an elephant rape, and I thought she was just getting trampled. Bloody hell, it's a bit more than I expected. Soundtrack corner. The movie ends obviously with the tremendously beautiful Adagio for strings, which then became even more famous in Platoon with the moment of him well, whoever gets shot in Platoon. I won't spoil it for people, even though it's the poster
That's spoiled.
Spoiled Platoon. But for me, it's and it's not that John Morris's score isn't beautiful and tremendous in its own right, but that particular song choice just caps the film so beautifully.
And they, I don't know if it's the one you were talking about, but because the one that opens the film as well, when it shows what his mum looks like, and then it flashes her image again later on and plays the same tune. I thought it was nice.
Tremendous.
Were the credits silent?
The final ones?
Yeah.
There was a bit of classic Lynchian industrial music, industrial sounds I heard.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
A bit of ambience, which leads us to Oscar travesty. Now, I'm going to double check, but I do believe this is the most nominated Lynch film at the Oscars. I'm going to double check with Mulholland Drive, because Mulholland Drive got nominated for a lot.
Right.
I'm a Dirty Liar. It only got nominated for Best Director. So this is the most nominated Lynch film at the Oscars.
Okay. Right.
And it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very it's his straightest film. It's very Oscar-y. Very Oscar-y as well.
It doesn't win any, but it is the second most nominations with Raging Bull. Everybody thought, I mean, I don't want to speculate, but most people at the time thought that this was going to be a Raging Bull sweep, but it, of course, wasn't. Ordinary People won a lot, which is a fine film. I do enjoy Ordinary People. It is very good. So it's nominated for Best Editing, loses to Raging Bull. No argument there, I have to say. Good old Thelma. Best Art Direction, as you were talking about that, just those beautiful sets.
Yeah. I think you could argue for that, but then there's also Empire as well as
Empire.
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Tess is the Roman Polanski adaptation of Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Post scandal. So yeah. And it was this, I believe it's his first movie back after I'm lying, because he made Chinatown as well. I'm lying.
Right.
I'm just a terrible liar. It's not nominated for Best Cinematography, which baffles me a little bit, especially when you've got Blue Lagoon in there, which is genuinely quite bad. I haven't seen The Formula, but it's that classic Oscar thing when you go like deep. I mean, I know most of these movies because I'm a weirdo, but
maybe a part of it might be that it was still black and white and color films were getting more popular.
Yeah, but Raging Bull's nominated.
Oh, is that black and white?
Have you not seen Raging Bull?
No.
Is
that it's a Scorsese, right?
Sure is, yeah. Fame wins Best Original Song. However, The Elephant Man's I'm a Human Being wasn't nominated, which I think is the real travesty of this. I mean, come on, though. Fame's a good song. It's not 9 to 5. 9 to 5 surely wins that.
Yeah.
No nomination for Best Sound. Again, baffling. Does get nominated for Best Score for John Morris.
I wouldn't put it for score though, even though it's great.
Yeah, it's again, it's a pretty fine score. It's definitely no Angelo. It is nominated for Best Screenplay. You may have noticed it loses to Ordinary People, which again I think I have to be diplomatic and say is fair. You may have noticed that it didn't win Best Makeup. That's because there wasn't a Best Makeup yet. It was the outrage that this film didn't receive any acclaim for its makeup that led to the best makeup award.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, no nomination for Hopkins, which I think I can't get behind really.
It's ridiculous.
albeit this is a pretty stacked top 5.
Yeah.
I would lose Judd Hirsch, I'm afraid. I would lose Judd Hirsch for Ordinary People. But it's pretty stacked. And Best Actor, John Hurt loses to De Niro for Raging Bull, which I think is, again, pretty fair.
I can't comment.
No, you can't. You cannot. You cannot. I couldn't possibly comment. Couldn't possibly. Would we? Is there a Best Supporting Actress nomination in here that we could figure out? I don't know. Anne Bancroft's very good, but I don't know if she's nominatable.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. And Ordinary People wins Best Picture and wins Best Director, losing both times to Raging Bull and both times to Elephant Man. I'd have to say this should have been. I'd do a split actually. I'd say Raging Bull Best Director, Ordinary People Best Picture.
Right. Okay.
There we go. and that was.
My comment is, I have seen The Elephant Man.
Elephant Man is great. Best Single Minute. Let's get into some of these more singular pieces. You've touched on it in your 10-minute stretch. Let's talk now about the opening and the ending.
Yes.
These, which were, I'm going to ruin a fun fact, was obviously the two things that the studio wanted cutting. And Mel Brooks said, "Oh, no, we're not showing you for your advice. We're showing you because you have a financial obligation. This is the movie." And so it was very nice, actually. A lot of the Brooks Lynch stories were very heartwarming.
I was standing outside the screening room, when the doors blew open and Mel came racing toward me. And he embraced me and said, "You're a madman. I love you. You're in."
I'll never forget his shirt was always buttoned. He always wore kind of a white shirt. One of the first to do this insane thing. It was always buttoned here. It was kind of weird. No tie, just a shirt buttoned. And he sat, and he had a lot of R's. He said, "It's a pleasure to meet you, sir." A lot of R's, like a Midwestern kid. Scared me. I expected to meet a young Max Reinhardt. I expected the guy to have, like Picasso, 2 eyes on one side of his nose. And here is a young Charles Lindbergh. He looked just like Charles Lindbergh. He says, "We just have to move things because I have to think about directing it. Not the screenplay, but the movie."
That's good. Yeah.
It brings us into a surrealer world and a more stylized world, which just lifts it off the page and makes it more than your average Victorian melodrama.
Yeah.
Which this film could have just so easily been. And
yeah, I know. It could have been too much, but it wasn't. Really. Besides a few parts.
Yeah. The oatmeal, when we cut between the oatmeal and the dropping, and Gielgud talking about him. I mean, that is the moment where he goes, "The Elephant Man," which maybe could be in change. The Elephant Man. Drop the mic.
What's your name? Man Elephant?
Man Elephant. She's wearing blue velvet. The stairwell, which we previously talked about, going to France and being saved by Kenny Baker, and then the concluding suicide and the Tennyson poem, and his mother talking in the stars. Nothing will die. Nothing will die.
I put the... Wait, no. Carry on with your point.
No, I was just going to say, it's just one hell of a way to end a big studio movie.
Yeah, I know. That's very Lynch.
And there's no funeral scene after or something, like where the movie ends with Anthony Hopkins walking off with his wife and having a good cry and having his big angry scene of...
He was one of the finest men I ever knew.
He shouldn't have died. He shouldn't have died.
He just wanted to be a man.
he was a man like any of us, and all he wanted to do was sleep. And it just ends. The movie's called The Elephant Man, and it ends with the Elephant Man taking his life. That painfully slow removing of the pillows.
Yeah.
Because, as soon as he grabs the first one, he's not readjusting, and he's going to do what he's going to do. And it's painful, it's torturous, and it's beautiful, it's elegantly told. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Well, my specific, wait, is it 1 minute?
Yeah, single minute, best single minutes.
The Romeo and Juliet scene.
Oh, yes, tremendous.
Oh, that was beautiful. The theatre scene. Although, I think the Blu-ray might have made that a little bit worse.
All right.
Because the most high-def shots were the one of his face, and then one of it's like the big shot of the stage where it shows all of them.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All the sort of like, I think that's the way it's been filmed. I think that's the way that Lynch has edited it and stuff.
Yeah, but then it could also be restoration problems, because there were a few shots that I think that I could tell weren't restored. They were just taken.
1080p. Bane of our lives, 1080p.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I put besides the one you've put, like the intro and the end. Nothing will die.
Best line. Let's do that now. I've got here. People are afraid by what they don't understand. It's just a very nice summation of what we're doing.
Yeah, very common. I put, my life is full because I know that I am loved.
Again, beautiful.
Yes.
Nothing will die. The stream flows, the wind blows, the cloud fleets, the heart beats. Nothing will die.
The Elephant Man. Why did he pick an independent filmmaker of your particular vision to make a true life Victorian drama with John Gielgud and Anthony Hopkins?
This is one of the great mysteries of life.
I've read that that Mr. Brooks came out of a screening and said, "This guy's crazy, sign him." Is that true?
No.
Okay. Tell us the truth.
I had written a script after Eraserhead called Ronnie Rocket, and I was hoping to make that film.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can you imagine the kind of life he must have had? Yes, I think I can. I don't think so. No one could possibly imagine it. I don't believe any of us can.
Good. Very good.
Astounding.
To not just believe it. Yeah.
And brings us into the world terrifically. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay. It's not a best line, but it's one that I thought was a pretty good summation of Frederick, where he says, "An imbecile has been from birth. Man's a complete idiot. I pray to God he's a complete idiot." Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at that point, you would.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'd hate for him to be this intelligent, incredible man in this body that's taken his entire life.
Yeah. I know.
And the minute that you come to think that he's fine with that existence because he can make lots more out of it, that's not true. There is this inherent horrible nature to his life. What's the change? You got anything?
Change. I said earlier because I was going to say that. For this bit, change. Wait, you go first.
Okay.
Whilst I try.
Would they let Miss Kendall in? I know that eventually it becomes this whole thing of one by one, and he thinks it's good for his therapy and stuff. But would they let an actress in the first time would they go, okay, yeah, come in? I don't know. Nobody heard the commotion when they broke in. Nobody heard all of that.
I know. What?
We didn't talk about that in anything either. That's just a horribly brilliant and terrible, terrifying, brilliant bit. Yeah. Has it come back to you?
No.
Anything left from your notes?
Wait, actually,
Shoot.
still on the change. Right. Okay, so does it need to be as whimsical and heartwarming? Do you think it's too?
In which part? Like, let's pick a few parts that you'd change.
Okay, I mean, I know that I said at the start that I don't think it is too heartwarming, but if I were to change it, maybe it would be the scene where all the other people that are at this circus, R2-D2, Kenny Baker, save him. Is it necessary?
I guess it's necessary in regards to plot and narrative, though.
Yeah, obviously, but and there's the fact that they don't escape as well.
But they're not in too much of a horrible existence. They're like
they're not in a cage.
Kenny Baker looks like the ringleader as well, so they're getting money from it or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess you could lose the farewell of good luck and of all the people we need it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that's too much. I don't think that's too much. I think maybe the theatre, in that as much as it's an incredibly warming and wonderful moment, none of these people are surprised or scared. The whole, there's, to our knowledge, there's still not been a publicly released picture.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was lovely too. I'm just trying to back up your point. I don't agree with you.
No, yeah.
Have you got anything left in your notes?
Yeah, one of the lines that I liked.
Shoot.
That I forgot. No son as lovely as you could ever be a disappointment.
Very nice.
Yeah.
There is no
Also,
alternate ending corner. Also.
No. So I think he should come back to life at the end, and he's cured. That's my alternative.
He wakes up and he's just normal John Hurt.
No. We live inside a.
We live inside a tree, and then a chest burster pops out. The Elephant Man. Here we go. The Elephant Man makeup took 7 to 8 hours to apply each day, and 2 hours to remove. Sir John Hurt would arrive on the set at 5 a.m. and shoot from noon until 10 p.m. Because of the strain on the actor, he worked alternate days. That's doable. I didn't know alternate days. That's doable.
Yeah. Did you know? I mentioned it earlier, but the Anthony Hopkins and Lynch didn't really get along that well.
No, go on.
Yes.
Any details?
Yes. So at the time, Lynch, obviously, he's very obscure with his direction, and then Anthony Hopkins wants to be really particular. So they kind of clashed a few times. There's a few different things, and then there's that, and there's a lot of Anthony Hopkins just kind of ended up directing himself for a lot of the scenes because he was just getting frustrated. But he said in 2000, he said in the 2000s that he wrote Lynch an apology letter and said that he was sorry and that he was too young at the time.
I was going to say, because Anthony Hopkins is like almost famously within the industry. the best man to work with ever.
Yeah. He
So
said he was young and hot-headed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I mean, we all do it. We all do it. We all have a period. After the first day of shooting, Sir John Hurt was exposed for the first time to the inconvenience of having his makeup applied and walking around in it. He called his wife, saying, "I think they finally managed to make me hate acting." Many of the events shown in the movie never happened. Joseph John Merrick was generally not ill-treated by his managers, and he certainly was never abducted from the hospital.
Yeah.
The despicable night watchman, portrayed by the late Michael Elphick, never existed either. Merrick had a peaceful and generally uneventful, if short, life at the hospital.
That was one of my other changes. But it's one of those things where it's a film, so it needs to have drama, it needs to keep going. But
it does annoy. You know, you're right. It does annoy. It does annoy me too.
Yeah. Does he need to be kidnapped? Does he?
I guess it's the thing. The kidnapping is a bit much.
Yeah, it's like, do we need the detour in the plot? Because he comes back and then it's fine.
And then it's fine. I think it's a way. Well, we need the mob scene, don't we?
Yeah, we need the mob scene.
I think you could have maybe had him go out himself and go, "I'd like fresh air. I want fresh air."
Yeah,
something like that. And then it builds and it builds and it builds as it does. No, you're right that like 5 minutes and we've gone to France and back from France. Maybe a little bit much.
Yeah.
In a 2008 interview with The Guardian about the making of the movie, Mel Brooks recalled that David Lynch was unprepared for the bitter cold of the London winter and didn't have a suitable overcoat, which Brooks bought him. Also, that he couldn't adapt to not eating Bob's Big Boy burgers every day. He's very obsessive compulsive that way, but you know, he did find a burger joint in London and he ate there every day too. On the casting of Anne Bancroft, Brooks said she already had won the Oscar for The Miracle Worker and she was the producer's wife, so no, she didn't have to audition. God, what a just a marvelous.
I just realized as we were talking about it, is that this came out the same year as Empire, which means that George Lucas probably either saw this and Eraserhead or Eraserhead, and then thought, yes, Lynch.
Well, this is the thing. People forget. People always go, Return of the Jedi is not that ridiculous because he might have seen Dune and thought, with different material, this will be great. No, Dune hadn't come out yet.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently, David Lynch is in it. When Merrick returns to London, he is chased by an angry mob and flees underground. The shot of the crowd descending the stairs in pursuit features Lynch in full costume.
Oh,
wow. Bradley Cooper once stated that this movie is the reason why he became an actor. And as aforementioned, he later went on to play John Merrick on Broadway.
Understandable.
See, great performance. Did you know, Jay, this is the only movie of David Lynch's not to feature any cast members from the original 2 seasons of Twin Peaks?
Good point. I mean, yeah,
I guess
it's it's an extremely different cast. Yeah.
Could we put anybody in?
I could see a John Hurt in it.
No, reverse, as in.
Oh, reverse.
Put a Twin Peaks in this.
Leland? Well, Ray Wise?
It's possible. I need to hear a lot. I need to hear some British accents.
Freddie with the green glove.
A little baby Freddie. Tagline rundown. An incredible but true story. Probably the year's best film. Except, open brackets, except it's not true. Close brackets. Another one. A true story of courage and human dignity. Open brackets, except most of it's fabricated. And then, I am not an animal, I am a human being, I am a man. Classic line.
Yeah.
And it's a great tagline. have to go with that. Which brings us to the end of The Elephant Man. We'll talk about sort of, get thinking. At the end of our Inland Empire episode, we're going to have a 5-minute bonus conversation ranking our Lynches.
Mine's already done so far on Letterboxd, so
I need to start thinking.
Except Dune.
Except Dune, yes, this is true.
Yeah, I think we'll have very different.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Very exciting. Any final thoughts on The Elephant Man? Is it a film that you will return to now that you have dipped your toes in this well?
Well, yeah, I watch Lynch films all the time, so probably.
Yeah, they're pretty good, aren't they? They're good, good films.
Yeah, they're all right. No, yeah, they're good. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it less likely, I'd say. I loved it. It was a film that I enjoyed, but it's one of those that I don't see myself revisiting in his career because I like seeing new things every time, and I don't know if you can really do that with The Elephant Man.
And it's a tough watch. It's not fun.
No.
And it's not that Lost Highway is a laugh riot, but it's.
I love the CGI face.
Oh well,
in bed.
We'll get to that. I mean, Jesus. Jay, it's been a pleasure. Next up is Dune, the only movie that neither of us have. Oh no! We've also got Straight Story, but we've already recorded Straight Story. This is really fun, isn't it?
It's out of order.
Well, in 2 episodes' time, I'm going to have a full beard again for our viewers. They're going to go.
I'm going to be in a different room.
Yeah, he grows that back quick. But in the meantime, Jay, it's been a pleasure. So long, Jay.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba.